Hi, my name is Malaika Thomas, and in this video, I will be presenting to you our solution to the University of Guyana's Faculty of Natural Science Inventory Management System. The purpose of this project was mainly to develop an easy-to-use inventory management web application for the university to streamline their stock-related operations. It'll help them keep tabs on stock levels, manage records, and optimize their supply chain. Ultimately, it's about making their life easier. During the initial stages of this project, we gathered several business requirements from our clients and stakeholders. One of the first ones being to provide a high-level inventory tracking system to streamline tracking of stock levels to avoid shortages or overstock situations, which is a very common problem. Our client emphasized on being able to maintain historical records in the system. Historical records will assist them in planning purchase orders in the future. It would allow them to identify patterns in demand, seasonal fluctuations, and trends, enabling them to order the right quantity at the right time. Security measures. Security measures must be in place to prevent users from taking action on a report or document that they are not authorized to. As it pertains to system requirements, user access is controlled by the highest level of authority in the faculty. Users cannot sign up or register in this system unless the client requests for this in the future. However, as of now, users can only be created by the admin, and once a user is created, they must be assigned roles which will control what they can access in the system. Since this is an ERP system at its core, it uses MariaDB database, which is an open source relational database management system, a fork of MySQL. These tables organize information in a structured format, allowing for efficient retrieval. Additionally, this database requires regular backups and proper security measures, which are essential aspects of managing data in an ERP system. With regards to operating system, the system is accessible through Windows 10 and later, or Mac OS High Sierra and later. Moving on to testing and deployment strategy. For our test strategy, there will be 5 phases of testing. Phase 1, we will focus on testing the core functionalities of the new software. Phase 2 would be the module integration testing, where we would test the integration of different modules within the software. We would verify data flow and communications between those modules. In phase 3, we would begin UAT testing. This is where we involve end users in testing to ensure the system meets their needs. In phase 4, we would assess the software's performance under various conditions. And in phase 5, we would perform security testing. The phase deployment strategy will be applied in this scenario since the faculty is transitioning from a manual system to a new software system. The fundamental benefit of phase deployment is its ease of use. There are also fewer difficulties to examine or handle under this module, and less resources are required. We believe that the biggest upside to this model of deployment is it enables better resource management. It would allow the faculty to allocate resources gradually and avoid overwhelming the organization with a sudden extensive change. So now let's take a look at our prototypical solution. This is our landing page. This is the first page the user will see once they navigate to the website link. We have some buttons here in the navigation bar. The home button, which will take them to the home page or the login screen since I'm not logged in currently. We have a contact us button with the faculty's information. And there's a staff directory that will redirect them to the university's official site with the staff directory. Now let's go ahead and log in. I will be logging in as the administrator. Just to fast track this process, I would have access to all the roles in the system. After logging in, the user can navigate to the Inventory Management workspace. This is the workspace for everyone in the Faculty of Natural Science department. Although all users in the system would have access to this one workspace, user role and user access would be controlled in the system. Here we have some number cards showing the total warehouses, the total incoming requisition, which is only visible for faculty office. They will see the number increase as long as the requisition is in the endorsed state and to be actioned by the faculty office. Total active item. There's currently 15 total active test items that I have in the system. Let's view the stock dashboard. The information on this dashboard are generated based on what I currently have in the system. Let's take a look at the asset dashboard. So we have two total assets. The number of assets that we had this year, since it's a new system, we have two. Asset value. So the first process I'm going to go through is adding an item to the system, because an item needs to be added in the system by faculty office before anyone can request for any items. To fast track the process, I'm just going to duplicate one of the items that I already have in the system. So this is the form that the user will see once they click on add item. They can enter the item code, item name, item group. The default unit of measure is always populated by default, but they can always clear that and select a default unit of measure for this item. The default unit of measure is what would be populated across the system based on what is entered here for this new item. So if someone from a department, let's say a secretary, wants to request for this item, once she clicks on this item under requisition, she will see that the default unit of measure is box. On the inventory setting is where faculty office can put certain settings, or you can say conditions on an item. They can set shelf life. If this is a perishable, they can set shelf life in days and set a end of life period by navigating through this calendar. They can also enter default request type if this item is normally purchased, or if it's normally transferred from somewhere, or if the university manufactures it. Valuation method, how is it that they want this item to move through the system? Is it first in, first out, last in, first out, or moving average? They can set if there's warranty on this item, weight per unit, and all other details here. There's a table for barcodes, auto reorder level. This is where they can control the amount of stock they order. We talked about them not being overstocked or understocked. This is where they can control that. So we have here what this table is saying is check in the Faculty of Natural Science offices, request for biology warehouse. When this item, when it reaches a level of 10, reorder 100 by purchasing. And for CSBD, when it reaches 40, reorder 200, because maybe they use more of this item. Faculty office can click on add row to add more rows to this table. They have the option to check if this item has serial number. For example, perishables might not have serial number, so they can leave it unchecked, like potatoes and stuff like that. But maybe it's a laptop, something else, you can check on has serial number and enter the serial number here. Or if it has a batch number, you have these options. I have to change this code. No two items in the system can have the same code. So since this is a duplicate item, I'm going to edit the code and hit save. And that's it. That's how an item is added to the system. I know notification is something that faculty was really concerned about. So at the bottom of this item and any other document in the system, you can see who created the item, who edited it, when they edited the item, and any other information, any other action that was taken on this document. So after adding an item in the system, we can now go ahead and create requisitions. Click on requisition and add internal requisition. And this is the internal requisition form. What I'm going to do is duplicate one of these requisitions so I can fast track this process for us today. All right, so here's the item table where they can enter what items they're requesting. I'm just going to go ahead and add another item to this list. Let's add acetone. Everything else is pre-filled. Even the quantity is set to 1 because you cannot request anything below 1. However, if you want to request more than one, you can edit this field and hit save. After saving, the internal requisition needs to go through a workflow. So the secretary would need to submit this to the HOD. Once with the HOD would review this form and then endorse it. After she endorses it, it goes to the faculty office. So this section becomes available for faculty office to click here and issue these items. Once they click there, This is a duplicated form, so this was already entered. However, for this new item I just entered, faculty office can come here and say, okay, we're going to issue 5, or they can issue less. And then save. Once they save, faculty can now issue this stock. And you can see the status of this requisition number 19 is stock issued. Let's say I am a CSBD secretary and I just got these stocks issued. So I can now go ahead and add those items to my stock. Let's go over to stock entry. Click on add stock entry. And I can go ahead and click on get items from, and click on internal requisition. And I can select that requisition that I just submitted, which was number 19, and click on get items. Once you click on get items, all the items is pulled to the stock entry form. You can review it, see the value. If you want to add any other information to this stock entry, you can. If not, you can hit on save. The error is stating that you need to specify a serial number for this item. It seems as though when this item was added, the checkbox that says has serial number was checked. So what the secretary can do in a case like this is get the serial number from faculty office or report this issue to them. If the secretary gets the serial number, she can enter it in here. Once entered, you can close there and hit save. So you can see the stock is now in a draft state. Before it's added to stock, it needs to go through a verification process. So the secretary will submit for verification. Once it's awaiting verification, only the HOD can, the admin can verify this stock entry. So the admin will come in and hit on verify. Once the admin hits on verify, you can see the stock is now verified and it's added to stock. Let's say a lot of requests was sent out over the week or month. If faculty office wants to now check the level of a particular item, they can navigate to that item, click on the dashboard tab. Now the stock levels, they will be able to see all movement of that particular item, how much went out, where it is, if it's in waiting, and they can move it around from here too. So we've created an item, sent out a requisition, stock was issued, and we added it to stock. The next stock type we're going to look at is assets. Now, assets are also added through item. However, once an item is added, the faculty office must check the button that says it is a fixed asset. And that's the only way it will be visible here for us to add a stock. There was 15 items in the system, as you can recall from the beginning of this demo. But under here in assets, when adding an asset, you can only see three assets in the system, or 3 stocks, I should say. So let's add an asset. We can select that code. The name would automatically populate in that field. The asset category will also populate also. We can select the location of this asset. Select if it's an existing asset. We have accounting dimensions and other details that can be entered. If maintenance is usually required on this asset, you can check that. Maybe it's an AC. You check maintenance required. You can add other, well, that's other details that's not editable. You can add a custodian who is in charge of this asset. And you can select which department this asset is in. So after completing all the information on the asset form, and once you hit save and you submit this, now moving on to asset movement. Let's just view one of the asset movement that is already in the system. This is how an asset movement is done. The company is a pre-filled field, so we have the date and time that this asset is being requested to move. The purpose could either be a receipt, issue, or a transfer. Let's just say it's a transfer. You can select the assets, and once you select the asset, the source location, the employee, target location, these fields are also populated. The to employee is also populated, and then you can hit save. And you can submit this for verification to the HOD. Once the HOD approves it, it's now approved and this asset is now transferred. Once the asset is done being used, if whoever is using it is ready to return it, they can come here, action this document, and click on return. There's also a comment section if that's necessary, if they want to leave any comments. Some other items that we have here on the workspace is the stock ledger. This is the stock ledger based on the stock that we have in the system right now. The user will have the option to export this as a PDF. You can print it, edit it, set up email, set user permission is something that the admin can do. They can also filter the items on the stock ledger using these fields at the top here. The next item we have here on the workspace is the fixed asset register. Once the user clicks there, it's a report of all the assets in the system. Currently, there's just that one asset, and it's under the category of electronic equipment. There's a purchase amount and other details here. Faculty Office also have the option to generate reports in the system. All these are reports, some stock reports that we added, item shortage report. So they will always have reports on the status of their item if they're running out of something. There's a stock summary, stock projected quantity, stock aging report, stock ledger. That's what we just viewed here. There's also tools like asset repair in case someone wants to repair a broken asset. Maybe it's a computer that needs fixing. That has a workflow process that needs to go through to faculty and maintenance. There's a quick stock balance tool to view the balance of a particular stock within a warehouse. You can see this, there's 0 acetone remaining. And that is it for our presentation on our prototypical solution for the inventory management system. In conclusion, the team is satisfied with the work that was produced. We're hopeful that the client would be satisfied. We have presented 99% of the requirements, with that 1% being the user roles that we did not demonstrate. But overall, we would say that the project was a success. It was a really good experience working firsthand with a real client and working together as a team in general. So we would conclude that this project was a success. And that brings us to the end of this presentation. Thank you.